Right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the final and fourth webinar in the series from Escon Solutions. This morning's session is all about financial reporting across both OpenAccounts and eBIS. We've got, as per the presentations previously, we've got two presentations this morning. First of all, we are going to hear from Bridget Gray, who is our head of consultancy here at Escon Solutions, and we're then going to hear from Mark Smith from Abellio, who was on one of the previous webinars. So thank you again, Mark, for helping us out this morning. It's much appreciated. Hopefully, you'll all find the session very, very useful. As has been the case previously, there is a link for any questions in the invite to the webinar, so please do submit any questions that you've got. But other than that, without further ado, let's crack on. And first of all, we will hear from Bridget. Thank you very much.
OpenAccounts and its workflow engine, eBIS or eFinance, have a number of reporting functions that can be used to output data held in these applications. In addition, OpenAccounts can also be used to report on other Progress or OpenEdge databases if these are configured on the client site. The following webinar provides an overview of some of the functionality available in OpenAccounts and eBIS regarding outputting data from these applications. Core system reports. There are a large number of standard out-of-the-box report programs that come with the product. There are various formats available for these core reports. For example, if you want to output the cost center master file, you could run program NL07 accounts file print and select either format A or format C for summary or detailed versions of the same report. The report programs are licensed per module and have usually been configured to sit within the menu structure of those modules. So if it's an accounts payable report, that would be available to users to run within the AP menu structure, and they must have a core financial license in OpenAccounts as well. The core system reports output to spool and some go to spreadsheet. The output to spreadsheet is actually built into the program, so if you are running an OpenAccounts routine where the Excel printer isn't available, that usually means the program itself hasn't been written in such a way that an output to Excel is possible. An example of this is PO32, purchase order, and goods receipt report, which only goes to spool. Some of the core system reports can be run via OpenAccounts and eBIS, although the functionality may be slightly different. For example, NL23, detail report by cost code when run from OpenAccounts, you have the choice to export that to Excel, but when run from eBIS, will only run as a spool output. You may have bespoke programs as an organisation which you've requested your support provider to create unique versions of existing reports or new programs altogether. Generate specific programmatical outputs from OpenAccounts or eBIS that is specific to your business and unique. The Management Accounts, Management Reporting or Financial Reporting module operates in a couple of different ways in OpenAccounts, and this depends on how the organisation and the users are licensed. If you have open reporting licenses in addition to financial reporting licenses, you can use the management account routines either directly within their own module where the routine codes begin MR, such as MR01, row format maintenance, or within the EDR, Executive Desktop Reporting module, where the routine codes begin ED, such as ED01 for row format maintenance. If you only have the financial reporting functionality, then the management reports will be of the spool or character type output rather than Excel formats with templates and your own formatting. The Management Accounts module is licensed via the Financial Reporting license with the Open Reporting add-on if you need to use Smart Reports. It is used for single company accounts. It's a report writer that lets you create management accounts and their backup for statutory reports such as P&L and balance sheet. If you have the Open Reporting license, you can assign smart Excel templates to your report formats. So you can create an individual template for each report. The report templates are based on a default that comes with the product specifically for this module. You can then customize and format your report template however you need to, and include other Excel functionality, such as a front sheet or formulas built directly into the template. The management account reports are for P&L and balance sheet, so information that is requiring account balance information. They're not based on individual transaction level. The module is linked to the general ledger budgeting, so if you do hold GL budgets in the OpenAccounts application, you can report against these. That's your live budget and any other budget models you've used. You can have as many budget models in the same report along with your live budget as you need. For example, an original budget model, a current live budget, and a forecast budget model. The management accounts module is also linked to commitments. If you have commitments enabled in your OpenAccounts build, you can then add in columns to your reports that pull through the values of your open purchase orders and your open goods receipt not invoiced. Analysis codes, or what we call soft codes, are a way of grouping together cost and expense code information for inquiry and reporting purposes. Using analysis codes allows you to design and build your reports by these analysis categories or groupings, rather than by hard coding the reporting lines to individual cost and expense codes and valid combinations. The use of analysis codes can significantly speed up the build of new reports and make the maintenance of your existing ones far easier to manage. If you do use general ledger analysis types to group together your accounts for reporting purposes, these groupings can be arranged into reporting hierarchies of up to 5 levels. The management accounts can be output at runtime to any or all of the hierarchy levels at the same time. This can be of benefit if you have reports which are for the same data set that get used by different people in the organisation. For example, if one of your hierarchy levels is budget holder, you can output the reports at this level and send the individual budget holders only their information. But you can also have a high-level summary version of the same report that covers all budget holders, and you wouldn't have to rewrite the report format or run it as a separate report output. The management account reports are built from linking together reporting rows, which hold the general ledger details, with reporting columns, which are things like actuals, budgets, and variances. The row formats, column formats, report formats, templates, and hierarchies are completely user-defined. There are no standard ones that come with the application, as your chart of accounts is unique to you. If you have an OpenAccounts installation with multiple financial companies in the same database, the management accounts can be completely different across each company, or you can copy them across companies where they do have things in common, such as the same expense codes perhaps. The management reports output to default directories within the application folder structure, or specific folders on other named servers. The default is defined in the configuration files of the application, and this can vary from site to site depending on your support provider. For example, advanced client sites usually have their live environment mapped to an O drive, so the default output for reporting would be this folder structure. You can choose to amend where the defaults are for each of the output paths. That's templates, data files, and the final output in report. The management accounts can be run online or in delayed or background mode. If you do run them in delayed mode, so that they are run in the background by a service account on the database server, you must ensure that this OpenAccounts service account or background user has permissions to output to the folder structure where the report outputs have been configured. This is often the cause of errors on client sites where the reporting file paths are not the default, but have been changed to something like a finance drive on another server, and the background user doesn't have permissions to that changed drive. Management accounts can be scheduled to run in the background at future dates and to generate email notification. As some of the reports can be quite time-consuming to run if you have large charts of accounts, large amounts of data, and particularly if you're using multiple levels in hierarchy structures, as this outputs each layer of the hierarchy to one individual Excel worksheet per level, it can be beneficial to run the reports in delayed or background mode. Also, you can hold an email address on a reporting format or on some of the analysis codes, and these email addresses are sent copies of the reports whenever they run, whether that's by being scheduled by the OpenAccounts scheduling functionality, or whether it's just being run ad hoc at any point in time. It's a good idea if you're creating a new report format not to add any email addresses into the configuration until the report is fully tested and signed off to avoid people getting sent lots of emails with test reports while they're still in design phase. Management accounts can be grouped together into reporting packs. We'll come to that in the open reporting section. There are separate programs for the report creation, maintenance, and production. It is recommended that only users that need to create the reports have access to the maintenance routines, such as row format, column format, and report format maintenance. Users that simply need to produce the output can just be given access to the report production programs, or reports can be scheduled and emailed to them if they don't actually need to log into OpenAccounts for anything themselves. This has the benefits of ensuring that only the agreed users have access to create or modify report configuration. You've got control over which users are allocated these programs and also which users are allocated which licenses to make more effective use of the licensing for each of the reporting modules. There is a separate project report writer for project accounting reports. The benefits of this are that you can hold different analysis structures against the project ledger, with different hierarchies as well, and separate project budgets from GL budgets, and therefore create a completely separate suite of user-defined project reports that get used only by the people that need them. Corporate or consolidated accounts is a separate module that's licensed separately within OpenAccounts as well. It has much of the same functionality as the management reporting module, but is intended for use by organisations that have more than one company within the same database where they need to do group reporting. The assumption is that the chart of accounts, cost expense codes or analysis codes have some consistency across the group in respect of the coding structure held on the report configuration. You have the option to hold smart templates in Excel with the Open Reporting license, and this report also gives you account balance information, so group P&L, group balance sheet. If you're using group reporting and you want to use budgets within the consolidated reports, you must ensure you have the same budget model codes set up in each of the companies in the group. You can also use commitments within these reports. You can use general ledger analysis codes in the same way that you use these for the management reports. But there's also an additional use of what's called system analysis codes. So over and above those you maintain within the BS08 analysis type code maintenance program, there's another program where you define system analysis codes that can be used in corporate reporting. This is completely optional and completely user-defined. The consolidated reports output to the default directories within the application folder structure, or you can change these to specified folders on other named servers. Again, these can be run online or in delayed mode. They can be scheduled to run at future dates and can generate email notifications. These can also be part of reporting packs. There are separate routines for consolidated report creation and report production, and a separate project report writer for consolidated or group project reporting. Ad hoc queries. These are licensed via the EDR financial reporting license. They are single table queries for things such as supplier balances, fixed asset transactions, or general ledger transactions. This is the bridging piece between financial reporting, or management and consolidated reports, and open reporting, which is report writer on multi-table queries. Ad hoc queries come with predefined pivot tables. You may have noticed when making an ad hoc query on something like suppliers that just by selecting that as a table type, the program actually creates a list of predefined fields and pivot values from the supplier table, and you can choose to use these or amend them to suit. There are no templates or smart reports on ad hoc queries. What you get is a data file and the merged Excel output, so there's no logos or formatting. These can also be scheduled, they can be part of reporting packs, and again, we have separate routines for the creation and management of ad hoc queries and the report production. EDR, Executive Desktop Reporting, Open Reporting. This is licensed via the EDR Open Reporting license. The data map functionality allows us to define the databases, the tables, and the fields that are available for use when writing a report writer table queries. The data map is part of the product that maps the database tables and fields from the system's programming language and syntax to a more user-friendly version of that to allow you to create your own reports, which are called table queries. A default data map comes with the application, but it's also possible to create new table links or amend existing ones if the user has specialist knowledge and training in this part of the system. The eBIS data map may need specialist consultancy, as eBIS is a user-defined workflow application. You may find your current OpenAccounts data map only consists of the OpenAccounts and System Utilities databases. In order to use the Open Reporting module in OA to report on eBIS data, the eBIS tables need to be imported and linked in the data map. This is normally a function that needs consultancy as it is technical and specialised. The Open Reporting module allows you to create queries across multiple tables that exist in the same database, for example, in the OpenAccounts database. Whereas the ad hoc queries are single table queries, just GL transactions or just fixed asset transactions, the table query functionality lets you report on one or more pre-linked tables based on the configuration of your data map. For example, if you want an output of supplier invoices and the GL accounts they've been coded to, you would need to create a query using multiple tables from the OpenAccounts database, such as the supplier transaction table, the supplier master file table, and the GL posted transaction table, because the data you want to output doesn't all live in one table in the database. Where multiple databases are mapped in your data map, you have the ability to create cross-database queries. An example of where you could use this is if you need to report on operator data, as some of this is held in system utilities, such as profiles and licensing information, and some of it is held in OpenAccounts, such as period posting permissions and GL code access. Open reporting is fully customizable for any level of data extraction, from individual transactions or master records to high level or groups of totals. You have the choice with table queries to either output as straight Excel data, to use pivot tables, or to hold smart templates, which output an additional tab into the output format, giving you a worksheet with logos, cosmetic formatting, and perhaps some formulas that were held on the template that are not reporting fields in the application. You can also output XML from table queries. Reporting packs are a way of grouping together different types of reports into one output with one set of runtime arguments. This is a really good part of the system that allows you to put together reports in various modules into a pack. So rather than having to run a table query and an ad hoc query and a company account and a consolidated report, you can design a pack and add in as many different report types as you need. If any of the reports have selection criteria, such as year and period, you only need to enter this once when you run the whole pack. Reporting packs output to default directories within the application folder structure, as do table queries. They can be run online or in delayed mode, and scheduled and emailed. Separate routines are available for report creation and maintenance and report production. Likewise, you have a report pack maintenance routine and a reporting pack production routine. Reporting security. In OpenAccounts, security can be switched on at individual company level for ad hoc, table queries, reporting packs, management accounts, and project report writer. It's recommended that multi-company organisations have dedicated folders on their network for reporting output, and that these are assigned to named users. This would ensure that not only do operators in the application get the data that they need, but also when it's exported to the network. You may need to speak to your IT support or hosted solution provider about Windows security. Reporting security allows for pre-designed reports to be assigned to operators that need to run them but not modify them. This satisfies any segregation of duty policies you may have and data security such as GDPR. In eBIS, reports that have been created in OpenAccounts can be published to named eBIS users. One of the key factors an organisation needs to consider is which users need access to which applications and which routines within them and which licenses. This is not only for the purpose of maintaining internal and external audit standards, segregation of duties, data privacy policies, and GDPR, but can also help with user account creation and maintenance and with the cost of licenses. How can Escon Solutions help your organisation? We can provide health checks on your existing processes with documentation providing recommendations on how to improve these. We can help you with housekeeping on your current reporting structures. If you've had OpenAccounts for some time, you may find there are a lot of reports that have been created that are not needed anymore, so it's a good idea to identify those and remove them to ensure that your current reporting suite is fit for purpose and the right people have access to the right reports. We've helped various clients either by investigating and making recommendations or by documenting our findings and then actually doing the data tidy up on their systems on their behalf. It can be quite time consuming and a business may not be able to free up internal personnel to do this. We provide consultancy around the design and implementation of management reports, consolidated reports, ad hoc and table queries, and project report writer. We can review your systems and help you design or redesign your reporting tools, and we can show you how to use them, or we can do the build for you. We give you training to the users in your company so that they can maintain their own reporting suites. This training is based on using your own data, preferably in an up-to-date test environment, so that the training is relevant to you and your company's information. This helps the users to take what they've learned in test and directly apply it to their live environment, as they will be familiar with their own data and confident that the results they get from the reports are real and can be verified easily. Our ESCON Assist product can supplement any training or consultancy by way of a super user help desk that gives you access to all of our support agents who have the knowledge and experience to help you to maintain your business as usual reporting processes.
I'm going to run through some
Excellent.
examples of how we at Abellio have utilised the reporting functions within both OpenAccounts and eBIS, and how this has helped to streamline our processes. I'll also cover off some of the reporting packs we have recently implemented. So firstly, on OpenAccounts reports, we use a variety of reports across our finance team. However, I'll just pull out a few examples and talk through the value that they add to our business. We utilise a variety of periodic reports. As an example, our AP team will run reports at ledger close, including aged creditors, GRNI, and unallocated cash. These are in Excel format. Running these reports enables us to provide a summary of each account to our stakeholders and also to pivot and analyse key areas of focus. We share these reports with our operating companies, and they are used across our group as part of each finance team's period end close process. At a more transactional level, we use spool files to confirm journal postings. For example, as part of my own month-end process, I will ensure I save copies of the journals I import in the spool format, and further, when the journal is posted to the ledger, I will obtain a spool file to confirm the posting. These files are used internally to show the backup for journals posted and can also be used as support to send to external auditors as part of their testing. I find this helpful as it helps with any incorrect postings should they occur, or for example, a journal that is posted that should have been a reversing journal but wasn't. It's easy to refer to the spool file to understand the exact nature of the journal posted. Another report that is set up to automatically be emailed across to us is the new user report. This report is run from OpenAccounts and details to us new eBIS users. We find this useful as it informs us of new requisitioners in each business who have been granted access to the system, which in turn feeds into our training programme. We deliver new user training on the eBIS functionalities from a requisitioner and an approver perspective. Therefore, we use these reports to try and ensure we are not missing any new starters. These reports are scheduled to run on the 1st of each month and detail any new users added to the system in the previous month. There are various other reports that we use in our business. Most commonly, we will access these reports through the table query functionality. An example of a report that I use is the OpenPO and GRNI for reversing table query reports. I run these reports periodically if we have identified purchase orders or GRNI lines that are no longer required. I'm then able to save these files down in the CSV format and sanitize the file to only include the lines I need to close off. I can then re-import the same file into OpenAccounts to perform the closure process. Another example of a common report we use would be the audit GL report. This shows the GL transactional data for whatever cost center range you tell the system you want, i.e. you can run it by individual cost centers or you can run it by them all. This report is used for various purposes, including as part of our period end process, but is also a report that we would provide to the external auditors to show the full transactional data in any given period. We've also designed reports with Escon to report on our KPIs. We have created query log reports, which are used to show the first time match rate on AP invoices, the percentage of late POs, and also the percentage of invoices paid on time. These reports not only allow us to calculate the percentage of our KPIs, but they also show the reasons why invoices or purchase orders have not met the KPI. This information enables us to report back to the operating companies the reason for failure, why they are not complying, and highlights which supplier or requisitioner are complying with or falling down with regards to the P2P process. We also use eBIS reports to obtain information. The most common eBIS report I will use is the management account files, which can be done on eBIS and will be emailed to you directly. These files summarise our month-end numbers, and I typically use these files when I am posting my month-end journals. These reports also show comparison versus forecast and versus budget, which provides a useful summary when working through our month-end process. Other reports we are able to run on eBIS includes budgetary reports, summary reports by cost codes, summary reports by expense codes. These reports are useful to help track our financial information and analyse it in a usable format. Further, we are also able to run user reports on eBIS which show access, approval limits, and other useful pieces of information. We are keen as an organisation to transfer more of our reports onto eBIS. This period, we're going to be running some period end AR reports on eBIS for the first time. We have also asked our wider team to review the reports they use and identify which ones they would like to be run through eBIS. This has benefits to our business from an efficiency perspective, as the reports are easier to run. However, also from a cost perspective, as it is more cost efficient to hold eBIS licenses as opposed to OpenAccounts licenses. One aspect of OpenAccounts reporting we have found useful is being able to create reporting packs. This enables users to combine several reports into the one pack, and not only saves time in running the one report compared to multiple reports, but it also enables us to better analyse the information. Recently, we have created an accounts receivable period end pack, which summarises the period end AR position. This pack contains 8 tabs, showing the detailed AR position, unallocated cash, cash collected, invoices issued, and other key parts of the AR position. This feeds through into an overall summary tab, which makes it easier for the user to, at a glance, view the overall position without having to go into each tab respectively. Another key reporting pack we use is the VAT pack. We worked with Escon as part of the Making Tax digital transition to ensure that we were compliant with the requirements. As part of this, we created a new version of the VAT pack, which pulls together the AP transactions, AR transactions, cash book transactions, and also shows all of the GL transactions in a separate tab. We are able to use this pack to feed into our VAT workbook, which has helped to automate the process massively, limiting the need for manual intervention. This is a key cornerstone of the Making Tax digital guidelines, therefore the creation of this reporting pack has helped us to be compliant, but it has also helped us to achieve efficiencies in the process. Finally, we have recently refreshed our management information packs. These packs are used by us on a weekly basis to show our various operating companies the latest AP and AR positions, and also shows how performance is against targets. We were also able to design these packs ourselves to create space for manual text, which we use to provide updates on the latest supplier and customer positions. The feedback we received from our stakeholders was very positive, saying that the information was very clear and it was helpful to have everything in the one workbook. Reporting packs is still an area we are looking to explore within our business, with our plan being to create an accounts payable period end pack in the same manner we have done for AR.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Bridget and Mark. Two very, very good presentations there, clearly outlining the power that, of the reporting capability within the application. So thank you for that. We will now just move over into some questions. And I'm conscious of time, but those presentations, albeit slightly longer than in previous webinars, I think that, you know, the level of information and the quality of information in there was, you know, was vitally important. So thanks again, guys. Just from a questions point of view, one of the questions here is, can any type of report be published out into eBIS?
So any of the reports that are designed in OpenAccounts using the report writer tools, whether that's the management or consolidated ad hoc or table queries, can also be published to eBIS users. Some of the core system reports are already in there, but they're programs. So you may find that you don't have the same full set of core reports that you have in OpenAccounts replicated in eBIS as programs in there. But if there are particular things that you need, you can create these with the table query suite, really.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Another question is, can OpenAccounts data extracts be linked to a third-party BI or reporting tool?
So yes, they can. We use Power BI within Abellio as our reporting tool, and we have a dedicated management information team who pull together, you know, information to present to our different stakeholders. So my colleague Uttam is currently working with us on ISCON just to link the data within OpenAccounts to that Power BI tool to automate the reporting process. Currently, his team have to go out to each respective department and obtain the information through individual reports. So automating this process and linking up the data will make it a lot easier going forward.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mark. Couple more questions. Will any new analysis codes or GL codes be picked up in the management accounts reports that I have built automatically? So if I've already built a report, will any new codes automatically fall into those reports?
The answer is it depends on which level of the hierarchy the general ledger is linked to an analysis code. So if you've got an analysis code, for example, balance sheet current assets code as an analysis code, and you add a new GL cost center in that already uses that code that's on a report, then yes, that GL cost center will automatically pull through into the reporting suite. So you don't have to add the individual cost codes in if you use the analysis codes as level one. If it's levels that are higher up in the reporting hierarchy, where you're just grouping the data together in a particular way, but it's not linked to a GL code, for example, then you would have to manually add in those new analysis codes into the hierarchy.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So it depends on whereabouts the information is held and the level of hierarchy, effectively. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you, Bridget. One more question. Can the OpenAccounts financial reports help with audit queries? So, for example, is there a means to report on who actually approved a particular transaction or maybe made a change to a supplier's bank details, for example?
Yes, so there are reports that can be run to show, you know, historical audit data, including approvers of transactions, who's changed supplier details, who's potentially deleted items from the system. I actually use these reports myself when working through audit requests, because often the auditors will just provide you with a transactional reference number or a journal reference number. So I can run these reports and then kind of VLOOK up to the transactions to then see who approved it and then allocate the audit request out to that individual accordingly. So very helpful reports.
Okay, brilliant. Excellent, thank you for that. Probably just do one final question, and then we can wrap it up. So, are reports restricted to a certain time frame of data at all?
It depends what kind of report it is. I mean, if it's a table query, which is the report writer one, and you're pulling out transactional information, it's a good idea to put filtering on the reports so that you're not just getting absolutely every piece of information that's in the database table, because it would take forever to run. But you usually just want to be looking for a particular set of data for a particular time frame. So you can use the query functionality, the filtering functionality in the report writer tools to restrict the output to the year and period you're interested in. With the management reports, they are sort of for a period at a time. So you would run it for, and you select a period at runtime usually.
Okay, brilliant. All right, thank you very much. That so that really sort of brings us to the close of today's webinar. So I think, you know, just as a closing thing from me, I think it's very clear from, you know, from the presentations, from the answers to those questions that, you know, as I mentioned before, the reporting functionality within OpenAccounts and eBIS is extremely powerful. It's, you know, very, very useful in terms of providing the right information to the right people at the right time. Mark, you talked about report packs and, you know, all those sorts of things. So, you know, what I would urge everybody on the call to do is just sort of, you know, review, you know, what you do from a reporting functionality, you know, piece. Is there anything that you want that you don't currently have that, and if there is, and it's something that you can do internally, then great. If not, you know, please feel free to reach out, you know, to Escon. You know, we're happy to have a conversation and look at whether it's something that actually can be done first and foremost, and you know, how can it be done? So, you know, I'm sure there's been great information in there. If anybody has any further questions, please feel free to submit them after the webinar. We will do the same as we've done every other week, and we will issue out a full Q&A document from all of the questions that we've been through this morning. But other than that, it just leaves me to say, once again, thank you to Bridget and Mark for fantastic presentations. Thank you to everybody for attending. Hope you found it useful, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much indeed, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.